Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Cone Racing League here, as we always are on a Monday night for Tier 4. This week, round 13 around the jewel in the desert that is the Bahrain Grand Prix. As usual, I am your host, CRL Freefall, and as usual, as is becoming a bit more standard now, I've got my lovely co-host, CRL Steiny007, or as we like to call them, Mr. Luca. Luca, how are you doing this evening?
I am doing absolutely great. It's amazing to be back here once again alongside a dear good friend, Scotty. I'm so excited. I'm very thrilled to be back here. And today we are in the hot Bahrain. And why don't you tell us what we are about to witness? We have a lot of heat going on.
Absolutely, a lot of heat, a lot of tension maybe on here tonight, but we'll get into that as you say. The calendar, of course, round 13 of 15. We're really getting to the business end of this season. Season 5 here, of course, in CRL. Russia and Brazil to come after that. But tonight, the main event is all the focus is here in the deserts of Bahrain. Of course, the Bahrain International Circuit, no messing about here in Sakir, made its debut in 2004, 5.4 kilometres long with only 15 corners. One of which technically isn't a corner, depending on who you ask. But we'll not get into that. 29 laps, and this will be its 10th ever CRL race here tonight. Of course, last week we had round 12 out in the Far East, out in Singapore, the tricky street circuits. Matt Rowney off the Aston Martin, taking the top step on the podium. Quick killer, getting another P2, another strong finish from the latecomer to this championship in a lot of ways, but a very strong candidate indeed for McLaren. And Riordan in the Mercedes. A tough battle going on between them two constructors for the global, or the combined constructors battle that we've seen go out for all the season. So big results from them last week. Of course, the main thing here tonight though is that Drivers' Championship. Hedgehog 11 retains his top spot in the championship. 277 points, only 7 ahead of AFL 1994. 7 points separate these two with 3 rounds to go. Mark Wilson, Mean Man Moody and Wild Dog all technically in with a chance of this title, but with only 123 points left, you've got to say that it's going to take a big slip up from both Hedgehog and DFL in probably 2 of these races for one of them to the leapfrog the 2 of them. But we've seen it before, we may see it again, but the big fight tonight, Hedgehog and AFL. Constructors wise, like we were saying, that combined championship, Mercedes top of the pops, 1,346 points. McLaren 115 points behind, on 1231. Shortly followed by Williams and AlphaTauri and even Red Bull. Mercedes definitely in the driving seat as they have been for the whole season, but anything can happen. And anything tends to happen, Steiny, doesn't it? It always tends to happen.
Of course, especially with our lovely guys in Tier 4, as we have experienced in our past, they are always going for a gap, because as you learn at the very beginning of your racing career, if you don't go for a gap that does exist, you're not a proper racing driver. But these racing drivers at the moment are on track, just warming up their tires. A few of them are on the outlap, but we have many already on track. I'm currently watching Hedgehog, who is now on the Sector 2, the straight, heading into turn number 11. Very tricky turns here approaching him. Staying on the left-hand side on turn 12. Don't touch the curb, and as he spins out, I was okay, that's the first little taste of commentator curse.
The first of many. We also have it wasn't the Alfa Romeo of AFL, it was his teammate Drone, but yeah, like you're saying, some very tricky turns. The first time's coming in though, 128 flat, exactly a flat by MUC Harvey. He's a man that's been very prominent in these qualifying sessions as the seasons went on, so one to look out for. Wild Dog, another one, but like you were saying, this track, a sort of love-hate relationship almost with...
Absolutely.
You know, it's, to some, I like to think of it as quite a balanced track. You've obviously got 4 pretty long straights as Piero gets us down into the 127s with a 27.740. But lots of long straights, you know, the start-finish straight, the back straight, and the two side straights, I suppose we'll call them. But then tricky turning points. Turn 1, hard braking zone. Then the exit 2 and 3. Very kind of a little kink through that first sector. Very, very tricky. Turn 10, of course, the downhill left-handers. We're about to see Ben just come through. Turn 8, you'll see turn 10 very, very shortly, just before the second the third DRS straight, sorry. And then, of course, we've seen Hedgehog make the mistake. Turns 12 and 13 sort of link up together before that final straight. Very easy to go too wide and turn too sharp and let that back end step out on you. And if that happens, you've just got to fight it and try and control it. On the other hand, take too much of a tight line entry, and the curb of death will spin you, as we see Ben having a spin, losing the back end there. Mean man Moody goes top of the pop, so with a 1:27.6. Qualifying tonight though, Steiny, it could all be down to who can get a nice clean lap in, who can get the best lap in without making one of these silly little mistakes.
Absolutely, and talking about the small little differences from the drivers here on trick, as well as we're seeing another 27.7 as well. P2 now so extremely close, just behind me, Moody, who's showing a great pace. And as I just talking about great pace, Wild Dog now 27.2, 4/10 difference. But we do see a couple of different tires as well on track. The highest medium tire at the moment is on P10 now, as Matt Rowney is on a 28.8. All the other drivers are on quicker tires in front of him on the soft tires, as Mark Wilson as well set another very, very quick time at 27.6, currently in P3. But many drivers are now back in the pit and changing up the tires to go out once again.
I say, from some very, very good times coming in. Reverend Melvin, another one, a 27.6. Look at that from P2 to, P4. That's quite crazy.
Wow.
A couple of hundred separating them guys. But even down to MUFC Harvey in P7. Just over a tenth separating 6 cars. Wild Dog at the moment, though, the firm favourite out in front. A 27.2. 4.2 tenths quicker than his nearest rival at the moment. Of course, 5 cars still yet to set a time. AFL, one of them in there. Of course, our championship contender. Watch the battle between him and Hedgehog here tonight. This will be not really one that they're both maybe desperate for the win, just to outscore each other.
He's currently on the 3rd sector as well, trying to set a better time that he currently has, a 1:45.1. In the dirty hour of the Mark Wilson had the William car is just costing a little bit of time, and Hedgehog is actually deciding to dive into the pit and changing the tire. Probably not happy with the time that he was about to set, as we had another car as well of Quick Keller, just finished the lap time as well, just about managed to get ahead of the other medium tire currently from Matt Rowney in P11.
Of course, one thing you mentioned, tires there, we know how severe the tire deg is around this track. Tire degradation, of course, is how quickly the tires wear out. There's a lot of temperature around this track, so it is really easy to get those mediums and in the race those hards up to a nice temperature. It also means that the softs are pretty quick, but only for 1 or 2 laps. So we've got a few guys out here. Scott Gay, mean man Moody, he just came into the pits and 3-lap old softs. You really don't want to be starting on them, because the top 10 will start on the tyres that they set the fastest lap on. There might be a little balance here, because we have seen a few of these drivers that go out and they do 2 or 3 laps on the softs, start on them, and they do alright. This isn't really a track you can do that around. You will see a big drop off in pace in those softs very quickly in the race, and we are expecting Steiny. We had a quick little discussion ourselves just before the race here.
Yes.
Quite a mixed bag of strategies. 1 stops, 2 stops, maybe even 3 stops.
Definitely, you never know what to expect here, especially in those kind of races. Bahrain is there are many turns where you can go for a very risky move, and putting a lot of pressure on your tires, trying to go on a late braking move, for example, into turn 1. Very tricky to pull off, but as we were talking about before, it depends on how well you can work with your tires, and maybe you need to change your perfect strategy that you have planned out before this race.
Absolutely. Ray Jordan having a spin at round 12 and 13. Very lucky to have all 4 corners of that suspension still attached. He was on for a half decent time there, I would say. But ultimately, having a spin and making contact with the wall. Maybe a little bit of commentator's curse on my part this time, Steiny. But we'll wait and see. AFL, he is starting his lap on the mediums. So he's fancying our chances trying to start on them. Strategy-wise tonight, we are looking at a soft medium is possible, or a medium soft, vice versa, I suppose. Soft medium soft is also very, very possible. Soft medium medium, medium hard, soft hard. There's really no
Many
right
options.
answer.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely agree. And this is the difference that we might see on track, that who will be able to work better on their strategy, on their tires that they have available. And it's also down to how they can manage it on the qualifying. Yes, you have 18 minutes of qualifying, but depending on how much you use all your tires, will you have another spare set as well. As some drivers are on the medium tire at the moment, we see AFL out as well on medium currently. Just another invalidation for him. Currently P19 on the other side. P17 Hedgehog is just putting a purple first sector on soft tires, so he might need to go back into the pit as well to change up to the soft tires to stay ahead and very, very close to his main rival here.
Absolutely. It's one of those tracks that can become a little bit of a train at times. We do have our first retirement on track, that is Drone YT. He was out on the mediums by the looks of things, having a little bit of a spin on the exit off turn 3, hitting that wall on the right hand side. We've seen it happen before. Of course, that is the corner where Grosjean had his horrible crash a few years ago, so it's not unlikely for cars to end up in the wall there, and that's unfortunately the end of his qualifying. Hedgehog though, purple second sector. Of course, we have known the game to throw up these little glitches at times, but this could be a stonker of maybe not a final lap, but definitely a good banker, I suppose, for him. Going to cross the line at 27.5.
Wow, extremely close there from Hedgehog. Wildog is just coming around the last and final turn here. He's on the flying lap, I assume. Let's see if he can improve his lap time, but no, he's actually diving into the box. And I have seen as well Matt Rowney doing purple first sector. He's coming around the last turn ahead, almost approaching the final line, and it's very, very close, just about ahead of Hedgehog. The two Aston Martins now P2 and P3, extremely strong performance so far from the two Aston Martin boys. Very, very close. Just 200, 200s.
200 second, a very, very close battle between the two. Of course, Matt, our winner last week in Singapore, he's had great patience coming into the league not too long ago. I wonder.
Lee Mahmoodi's very, very quick at the moment. So
We're just on him. We're just on him at the moment. He's about to cross the line. A 26.8. Wow, what a lap from the Elderman of the league. I'm sure he won't mind me saying that. AFL also crossing line for a 29.2 on the mediums. But
get in the Alpha Tauri.
No bias, of course. A very, very solid lap from Mean Man Moody. 4 tenths clear of Wild Dog, who's 3 tenths clear of Matt Rowney. Quick Killer though is on a lap right now, coming down at the final back straight of Sector 3, I suppose. Rounding the final bend. And then the other final bend, that little kink, does technically count as a corner, yep. Surprises me as well. Going to cross the line with a 27.218. Does beat out Wild Dog for P2. So, I suspect we could see a big flurry here, Steiny, of some quick lap times.
Oh, definitely. And it's very, very interesting to see. AFL is still out on medium. He does not want to go on soft tires, so he maybe thinks that starting on medium is the one to go. Currently 2 laps out, and we'll see what time he can do, because currently still on P16. I think Quick Killer just, or was it Piero? I think Piero is now up into P4.
Piero jumping up to P4 there with a 27.501. Be interesting to see though. Mean Man Moody's still 4 tenths clear at the top. Quick Killer, Piero setting the times after that, so in theory having better track evolution. Mean Man looking very, very solid at this early stage. But like you're saying, AFL, he's going to cross a line here, and he isn't going to improve in his time. He is coming into the pits. He will have time to slap on a fresh set of softs and go out. We'll see if he does that. Maybe he's choosing strategy over track position. It isn't a terrible circuit for overtaking, but of course, if your rival's starting 10 positions higher, that's 10 more positions you've got to climb to beat them, and that is the battle. That's the main battle we're looking at tonight, of course. But there'll be plenty of other action on track, as there always is. In here, these guys love to battle. They love to show us the unconventional moves. We've seen a few of them over the races this season, and I'm sure we'll see a few more. But
absolutely, this is
not a
what
lot
we're
of cars
most
on track.
excited for. Yeah, as you're saying, like, there are not a lot of cars on track at the moment. We're noticing everyone is just changing up the tires. We have seen AFI going into the pit. Maybe the medium tire is not the best one to go here in qualifying currently. And we have some people coming out on the outlap, warming up the tires, but we have MUFC Harvey's were crossing over the line and was not able to improve his lap time, but he's maybe going for another try. Currently 2-lap old soft tires, going very, very deep though into turn 1 and just spun out as well. Unfortunately, the curb on the outside is so tricky to take.
It is one of them. You've got to risk it for a quick lap and try and cut it and try and use as much of them curbs as possible. Use too much, you're either going to invalidate, or as we've just seen with MFC Harvey, going to go for a spin. The usual curse of the beautiful short quality getting to me again tonight. I'm not quite sure who's on a lap and who's not. Mark Wilson is on a lap. A 10th up in his time at the moment, it's same. We'll just see as he crosses the second sector finishing point. How far up on his time is he as he comes around turn. Oh, 12 and 13 and takes a big impact into the wall. That was a strange crash. I've seen many people spin out around that turn, but never anyone quite like that with quite that violence. He was 3/10 up in his time at that second as well. So, you know, to be 3/10 up in your time while you're going sideways off the track, he was on a flyer.
It's quite impressive, yeah. He must have had a lot of time there to be found, as well as Scott Gay, currently P12 in second sector, purple second sector, 2/10 up on his time. And now, but he just invalidated on the exit from turn 13, it is, I assume. Yes, it is. Turn 13, the exit on the curb. You lose a lot of traction. Very, very tricky. But he has another minute, and he can make it around enough ERS as well. So another attempt for the Red Bull driver. Currently, we have both McLaren driver out as well. Rapid Melvin coming around the last turn, looking very, very nice and smooth, as well as his teammate is using a little bit dirty air as well on the straight. Rapid Melvin not able to improve his time by 1/10, so extremely close there once again, as you can see, from P4 all the way down to P10, I would say. Very, very close, just 2/10 difference.
I would go even P4 to, do you know, even down to P13 with Atomic. 6/10 separating half the grid, at least.
Wow.
We've still got 2 cars to set the first time, one of which is, of course, reordering the Irishman. He's had some good podiums. He's had some good pace. Not able to get a lap time in yet. We've seen him hit the wall earlier on, but he is on a flyer at the moment. Second sector split time is a 105.8. Qualifying is, of course, finished. Everybody will be on their last laps now.
Wild Dog improved his lap time as well. They're up to P2 on the 27.0, just 2/10 behind him. He pushed very, very hard, but not able to beat the immense, way much quicker time than Meeman Moody. But we see as well, Vervin Melvin, once again, not too sure if it's back, but once again, second sector is purple for him. McLaren driver currently in the third sector. Very quick.
AFL, just to interrupt you, AFL goes fourth with a 27.3. Hedgehog will need to respond. This is the battle. We've said it a lot. This is the one we're going to be keeping a lot of eyes on tonight. Quick Killer P4, 8 thousandths behind his teammate. No, he's just set his line, sorry about that. 27.009, and Hedgehog is off into the wall at turn 12 and 13. So will not improve his final time.
The Maverick just approaching the final straight now as well, just on P16. Who do we have now? Matt Rowney just crossed the line, P6. He's coming around the last turn. I think we have coming now over the line, all the way up to P5. So very, very good improvement for him on 27.2. Anyone else still on the lap? I think White Dog. No, he's
he
still
will not improve.
slow, and that is it.
That'll be it.
That is it for qualifying. Extremely close between P2 and P3. That is nothing.
Very, very close. Mean Man Moody on top. 2 tenths clear of Quick Killer, but nothing separating Quick Killer and Wild Dog for that second spot. And even, you know, look at that, Reverend Melvin, Wee Cammy, both in the 27.2s for 4th and 5th respectively. AFL Matt Rowney, both in the 27.3s for 6th and 7th respectively. And then we've got 3 cars all in the 27.5s, another in the 27.6s, and another in the 27.7s. Very, very close qualifying. It just shows you that one little mistake, getting on the throttle maybe slightly later or slightly too early, can cost you not just a tenth, but a position or even 2 or 3. But like we've said, Mean Man Moody in the AlphaTauri, you'll be loving that one, Steiny. Takes pole position. I'm quite happy as well, though. Quick Killer in P2, of course, for the McLaren. Wild Dog P3 in the Ferrari. Our sort of championship battle, though. AFL P6 for the Alfa Romeo. Hedgehog P10. Of course, all of the top 10 setting their times on the softs. They will need to start on the softs. Mark Wilson, maybe in a very good position there in P11, as is MEFC Harvey, Tom Tip Top, Scott Gay in the latter, or the low ends of the teens. Poor man's pole position, as we do say, but that is, of course, the grid for the race. 29 laps here tonight in Bahrain, and it's sure to be an exciting one.
Absolutely, very, very exciting. As you mentioned as well, you love to see the battle, as usual, AlphaTauri against McLaren, as we're used as well on track in our race on Tier 2. But this race is all about McLaren. In my opinion, both drivers looking very, very strong. McLaren currently just 86 points behind Mercedes, now battling for the championship lead, currently in very, very strong position. Quick Killer just about behind Mima Moody. It's all about how many cars can they finish in the top 5, and they will have done an amazing job already. Very strong performance.
Absolutely. Of course, two battles going on here, like you say, the drivers and the constructors. Mercedes, McLaren, and then I suppose Hedgehog, Mark Wilson, and AFL. So a lot to look out here tonight. Also, just a little interesting thing to point out here as well, Steiny. Full grid tonight of all full-time drivers.
Absolutely.
Every one of our full-time drivers here. Lovely to see.
Finally, full-time, full grid. Every single driver was able to race. Everyone is thrilled and excited. Everyone is prepared for Bahrain. And we can see, if we have a look on the tire compound as well, top 10, every single one has made it through on soft tires as expected. Mark Wilson, P11, decided to go on medium, so looking very, very strong there, just in front of MEFC Harvey on soft. But then we have 2 runners as well on hards, Scott Gay and the Maverick, both on hards, just around, surrounded by all those yellow medium tires. So different strategies, as we were talking about before, and it all comes down now to the next 29 laps here in Bahrain to who can make it through better. But we see an AlphaTauri all the way at the back. I'm wondering what Ben is doing. Is that a little spinner, Rooney, already? Is Spinella?
It might have been. He seemed to be very slow off the line. So maybe a little bit of a spin. Also a gap between Wee Cammy in 5th and Reverend Melvin in 4th. So the front 4, I'm sure, will be loving that. Be surprised if Mean Man Moody doesn't back up the pack a little bit around these final corners. But yeah, very, very good mix of tyres there. Softs, expect to see them pitting anywhere from maybe even lap 4. Well, there you go, the pit stop strategy. Lap 78, they're saying. I think we could see them earlier, personally.
You're doing great in commentator, Kirsten, by the way.
And the mediums about maybe lap 12. We do have Ben being disqualified from the formation lap. I think he had another spin just on the exit of turn 10. It seemed his car was stationary, so fortunately we won't need to wait for him to get round the track. Unfortunately for him, he will be sitting with cold tyres on the run-up. But the grid is reforming now, Steiny.
Oh, we are getting excited as everyone else as well. Thank you so much in the chat to join us as well. We have lovely 12 viewers. Amazing to have you here. Let us know who you're cheering for in the comments as we have all the 20 cars, actually 19 cars lining up on the grid who waiting for the 5 lights to go on and off. Scott, take it away.
Well, as you see, here we go. We'll try and get a nice little view looking down towards the cars. The camera angles of Bahrain not doing me very nice. We'll see what we can do. There we go, that's a bit better. We have, of course, got the 5 red lights coming on now. Lights out. And away we go for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Quick Killer getting a half decent start, getting a nice run down the inside of Mean Man Moody into turn 1, looking to make the move for the lead of the Grand Prix, going down the inside. And gets the move done very, very nicely. Mean Man fighting it back but can't quite. Wee Cammy up from 5th, all the way battling for 2nd at the moment as we have a yellow flag further back down the field.
That was Riordan. Unfortunately, he got in contact with AFL, I assume it was. He was just battling side by side with MUFC Harvey. Unfortunately for that Mercedes driver, now all the way down in P20. But the race is far from over here on the first lap. And there's another car as well going wide. And that is Atomic.
Just speaking of first lap sort of drama, MUFC Harvey and Drone both up 7 already at this point. We'll just flick on to that. Apart from that, not much in the way of movement and shaping. Apart from, of course, Riordan further back. Wee Cammy, though, getting his elbows out here already. Finding himself in quite a few battles. MUFC Harvey is the latest of them. Wild Dog dropping down a little bit on the start. Getting bogged down, it seemed, on the line. And losing out through turn 1 as Wee Cammy and MUFC go side by side. A lovely move around the outside by Harvey through turn 13. Hedgehog and AFL side by side. Well, not side by side, but one in front of the other. This is going to be a battle. I cannot wait to see these two battling out for the title, for the Championship League. Of course, 7 points separating them on the points tally. Only 3/10 separating them on track at this early stage. MUFC Harvey and Reverend Melvin jumping back to that, going side by side through turn 1, back to 2. Of course, the outside of turn 1 swinging to the inside of turn 2, swinging to the outside of turn 3, but Reverend Melvin getting the job done as Wild Dog makes a move on Wee Cammy in the same bit. I'm just looking down that second straight there, and there was just 2 by 2 by 2. Just so many
side-by-side battles that we can see. As we were talking about before, every single opportunities driver love to take, and as we can see, another move here. Once again, the battle between Reverend Melvin and MUFC Harvey. If you just brake slightly later and your rival is so close behind you, you will expect another move as well. As we are seeing a side-by-side battle once again, AFL with Wee Cammy. Both are very, very close to each other. Wee Cammy is getting slightly wider here, but Hedgehog is coming close as well onto AFL. It's going on the inside line, but you don't want to catch that curb there on on turn 12, as I'm trying to find my words to explain what's happening on screen.
Yeah, Hedgehog doing very well there to not just avoid the curb, but also avoid understeering out into the right-hand side of AFL and avoid any contact between the two cars. Very, very good bit of driving there from all three of them, AFL, Wee Cammy and Hedgehog. Wee Cammy getting the elbows out a little bit, maybe, shall we say, but we've seen plenty of hard, fair racing before. It looked to be that. Hopefully that's all it was, and no maliciousness, shall we say. But Reverend Melvin, MUFC Harvey going back at it again. And this is letting the front two sort of just take off into the distance. MUFC Harvey and Reverend Melvin now about 3 seconds side by side through turns 5 and 6. And unfortunately, Reverend Melvin coming off a lot worse than MUFC Harvey. They are losing it a little bit on the curb. Not much in the way of contact from what I've seen, but of course, it could be a different story from the onboards. Not how he would have wanted to started running very well up there, battling it for P3. But that's just once again letting it Mean Man Moody and Quick Killer shoot off into the distance, and a 3.5 second lead from 2 to 3.
That's a good distance, definitely. There's a lot of battling going on track for position. Of course, it is very important to get a higher position at the early stage of the race, but you maybe want to think if you concede the position a little bit earlier, because you might lose a bit of time. But now it's only 3 laps in, and we have seen a lot of action already. The grid is settling down a little bit. Everyone is finding their positions. Reverend Melvin has to defend once again now on the long straight, with behind him Riordan activating the DRS. Very, very interesting battle going on as well here for P13.
Yeah, Reverend Melvin coming off worst with his battle with one of the Mercedes. Now he's having to defend from the other, but he is looking to get a move down the inside into turn 1, nice and easy on the Maverick. That DRS, a big aid down the straights, and of course 3 DRS zones here, all independent activation zones, so plenty of overtaking with those DRS straights. Scott Gay making a move past Ben round turn 4, and we have a spin in the second sector as wee Cammy losing at a similar place to Reverend Melvin. Very tricky, the curbs, as we've said before. Very easy to just unsettle the car, lose a little bit of traction, and around you will go. But lap 4, of course DRS is enabled now, and we may in the next few laps see the very first of the pitters. All those softs. Now I can give you a little intel from a bit of practice earlier on.
Ooh, here it comes.
I found the softs after about 3 laps, maybe about 25 to 30% tyre wear.
That is coming from you.
I know.
The one in Tier 2 who's known to be quite decent, actually good in the tyre wear management as well. And hearing that from you is actually confirming what we can see on the screen as well. A lot of soft runners are struggling a little bit to find the grid.
It is that, of course, in a practice session, so we know it might be a little bit off, it might be a little bit less tyre in the actual race than we see. But AFL and Hedgehog here having a battle, just swap back. MFC Harvey got a move on Wild Dog, but Hedgehog getting the move done with the assist of DRS on AFL. AFL though a little bit more in the ERS department, so conserved has a little bit better. We do know these Tier 4 drivers love to use that battery button. Wild Dog and MFC Harvey going side by side through the second sector, through turns 6, 7, 8, I believe it is. But MFC Harvey staying ahead, keeping it clean, keeping it nice and civilised. Love to see the battle though. AFL, Matt Rowney and Hedgehog. AFL finds himself in an Aston Martin sandwich. I believe there could be a bit of team orders going on here at Aston Martin. Hedgehog saying, get on him, get past him and hold him up for me, please.
There's definitely to expect it to hear over the radio, and there's a lot of position change going on as well. Still, the soft tires, as you were mentioning before, are just losing the grip. Now Ben, who's P10 BX37 Pro, is behind Reverend Melvin, who are continuously changing the positions because of tires losing the grip, and the car behind you is just getting a DRS once again. So there's a lot of tactical overtaking going on at the moment on the track.
Definitely, I think at this lap, if not the next, we could see Tomo tipped off, especially start to close that gap in the soft runners in front. He's the furthest up of the medium. We do have the first pitter, it is Reverend Melvin, only doing 5 laps on them soft, so that is again confirmed what we're saying. Hedgehog though having a little moment through turn 2 there, loses 2 positions to AFL and Matt Rowney, so maybe he'll be looking to pit this lap. I wouldn't be surprised if we do see more. Reverend Melvin going onto the mediums, so likely a soft medium soft, or maybe even a soft medium for him. We'll wait and see how he decides to go for that.
A spinner there, sorry to interrupt. We had the Maverick unfortunately spun on the curb, and we have an amazing battle as well now going on. Drone against Funny as Chimp, now just in the second sector, currently on P14, and the drone is just desperate of passing Chimp on track, but both are using a lot of ERS just to push a little bit more than the other car around. Both are medium tires.
Well, that was going on. MUFC Harvey dropping down to P11. He had a little bit of a moment. Drone though making the move on Funny Oschimp with that DRS, gets tucked back in front before turn 11. A nice little simple move, and they'll be up to Chimp to hook in behind and either sit there and let him get pulled along or go for it again. Atomic going up the inside of MUFC Harvey round turn 13. We just caught the end of that. That looked like a very, very audacious but a very, very clean and lovely move, I must say, from the Scotsman of Atomic in the Haas. Further up, Matt Rowney making a move.
Scott is really struggling now on the straight. Has no ERS to defend and no DRS. Just lost 2 positions there in front of the last turn.
It just shows you
they have in the pit as well now.
The ERS management is essential around here. It's not great for, you know, you can't build it up amazing. Oh, who have we got?
BX37 spins around during a battle, unfortunately. I think there was a slight touch which just unsettled the car in the apex. Unfortunately for him, he was not able to catch it and lost out the position that he was battling for P8.
So this would be in this battle with Riordan, Scott Gain, Atomic. We have a spin as well, I believe. It was Hedgehog 11. He's had a spin on the exit of turn 9, losing out to Tomo Tip Top and losing quite a little bit of time. But further behind, that battle you're talking about, P8, is still ongoing. Interesting one, this. Riordan on the softs, Scott on the hards, and Atomic on the mediums. All 3 sets of tyre compounds in this battle. And, you know, Drone, just over a second behind. If he can close to that DRS gap, he can definitely get in the mix with these here.
Absolutely.
Riordan now looking to shape up a move on Hedgehog. Hedgehog definitely struggling with those tyres, it seems. Of course, high tyre temperatures around here, it is easy to overheat, and we do have another pitter in the form of Wild Dog. A lot of these guys going 8 laps on the softs. That to me looks like they're trying to go for a soft medium, maybe. Personally, I would have been off those softs a long time ago. And we do have a spin from the race leader. It is Quick Killer 21 on the first straight after turn 3 before turn 4. He has spun and lost out to Mean Man Moody. That means Mean Man Moody is now inherited an 8.2 second lead out front. And AFL and Matt Rowney are now right on the tail of Quick Killer. He will have hot tyres. He will have very, very limited grip and have to be very, very cautious on the throttle here.
Absolutely. Only 7 laps and you're struggling so much, as we can see. So many drivers are struggling on the soft tires to find the grip that they need for every single turn. And this is why Quickler was just unfortunate enough to lose out such a amazing performance at the beginning and really struggling now to keep up. Matt Rowney is just behind him, extremely close battling here. That does not make me look forward for Thursday, if you would ask me.
Oh, I can't wait.
Curbed.
Oh,
he's just
Killer getting very out of shape on the curbs there of turn 13 and almost making contact with Matt Rowney. Maybe a little scrape on the way past. Does very well to keep the car in one place, and he'll be definitely...
Mean Man Moody is pitting.
Mean Man Moody pitting from the lead.
Pitting.
11-second lead. So half a pit stop here free. Matt Rowney going another lap on the softs. Doing very well to manage his tyres. AFL into the pits as well. Quick Killer into the pits. Riordan into the pits. I suspect Matt will be the only soft runner at the end of this. But Mean Man Moody going to come out after his stop in about P6, it seems. Maybe P7. But very solid. One to watch out here as well. Wild Dog. He's only about 2 seconds behind Mean Man Moody. He was a lot more before the pit stops. That just shows you the tyre deg is so high around here, the undercut can be very, very strong. Quick Killer going onto the hards, as is Hedgehog, and Riordan going for mediums. So Quick Killer and Hedgehog looking to go along on the hards, probably go to the end of the race. I'd imagine the mediums will need to stop. If they don't, they're going to be screaming by the end of this race. Sorry, just to interrupt in there, Steiny.
Absolutely fine, but yeah, as you were mentioning as well, Wild Dog is looking really, really strong now. You were saying the 2 seconds gap, he's just battling a lot with weak Cami now on track. It might have cost him a little bit more time and more important tire performance for him that you were looking for. And now 8 tenths, that is how much time you lose in just one little turn compared to the car ahead, who is on free air as we have another spinner there as well, I think. Atomic.
I need to be cautious there on the rejoin, just flicking the car back onto the racing line. Not what we would encourage. Spin around turn 13. Matt Rowney jumping into the pits. He'd lost out, or near enough lost out, on track to Tomo Tiptop, who, if you remember, 2 or 3 laps ago was about 3 seconds further back. So, just showing the drop off on the softs. Drone making a move on Scott Gay down into turn 1-4. What is technically P2. Of course, there was still pit stops to come into play here to reshake up the order. And Mean Man Moody now on the back of them. He'll be needing to clear these 2 cars as quick as he can to try and take off into the distance and get away from Wild Dog, as we do seem to have a yellow flag in turn 1. Doesn't seem to be any cars stopped.
The car going slow there a little bit, but good catch there. I think in sector 1 there was a car going off slightly and lost a lot of pace. And talking about losing pace, Mima Moody is now stuck behind Drone. That gives Wild Dog a great opportunity to make a lot of time up. Now is getting very, very close to his main race rival here for this race.
Yeah, absolutely. He's caught up about 2 seconds there. Mima Moody managing to get past Scott Gay, but not able to get past Drone as of yet. And that has had big ramifications in his race. There does seem to be an incident further back though between Spider Rob and Quick Killer. Quick Killer having no front wing after just going onto the hards, and Spider Rob almost stuck in the wall, just stopped on the track. He's been able to get the car going again. Doesn't look to have much damage, but could have a little bit of light damage. But Quick Killer's race going from bad to worse. That spin, and now on his first lap on the hards, getting tangled up with the McLaren. Back to this fight though for effectively P2. Mean Man Moody getting well clear of Drone long before turn 1 with the aid of the DRS. And Wild Dog looking to have a move on Scott Gay down the inside. Thinks better of it, backing out after a very late decision, I suppose, but keeps it nice and clean. Riordan, fastest lap of the race on those freshish mediums, a 1:30.3. Wee Cammy though, 10 laps on the softs. I just noticed that. that is incredible.
A roller coaster on ice, if you'd ask me. A roller coaster, definitely in Bahrain. A tricky track already just with the curves, but with 10 laps, old softs now, he's barely making it around the turns now, braking late for a few turns. You can see how much struggle he has to stay on track and in good times. He might want to pit very, very soon, because there's another hungry Alpine car as well just behind him.
So that to me says that Wee Cammy is going to be the one, definitely going to be the one to try the soft medium. That's
going to be interesting.
We'll see how that plays out for him. You can see the speed he's even losing on Funny Oz Chimp through turn 13. Just not able to get the power down through that long right-hander that we know is really tricky on traction anyways, but losing out a lot. Mark Wilson and EFL catching Mark Wilson by quite a bit there, it seems. And Mean Man Moody racking in the new fastest lap, and he's pulled out a 2-second gap to Drone, which Wild Dog has been unable to get past as of yet. But 4 cars here very close together. Chimp having a look down the inside of Wee Cammy. Mark Wilson trying to follow through, thinks better of it though, and tucks back in behind, and that is a nice move from Chimp to get him up into P6 at the moment. Matt Rowney getting past BX37 Pro further down the field.
Ooh, do you know what I've just spotted, my dear friend? Look at AFL, his tires, and look at Hedgehog and his tires. We have Hedgehog currently on hard compound tires.
Oh, sorry to interrupt the AFL, just as you were speaking them, going side by side through turns 5 and 6, making contact with Wee Cammy and getting spun right around. Doesn't seem to be damaged. It looked more like wheel on side pod from AFL, but that has lost him a lot of time and a lot of positions, and now season going to be 1.3 of Hedgehog. But I'll continue on what you're going to see.
Wow.
Hedgehog on the hards. He can go to the end.
Absolutely. And do you just want to take my microphone as well? Because I think commentator Chris is really on a big foot today. I was just about to say it's going to be interesting to see how much Hedgehog is going to be able to put down the lap as well between the two of them.
Sorry to interrupt. We have a safety car.
That is going to be even
It is
better.
Spider Rob crashed out just before the start finish line. I thought he'd actually retired in the pits. That's gave Tom a tip stop, nearly a free pit
Look
stop.
at Drone.
Drone, Scott Gay all into the pits. Of course, Scott Gay won't be able to go in the hards to the end, but a set of mediums, yeah, it's possible. Of course, two
Just a
laps under
short
safety
update.
car, and then
Absolutely.
yeah.
Oh, sorry to interrupt you.
No,
I'm
no.
too excited here. Drone is in a great position. He made up 13 positions during the race so far, coming out just behind his own teammate now, AFL. What a change now. Alfa Romeo, a P5 and a P6. Drone, 11 positions improvement, as well as Tomo Tiptop, 10 positions improvement now on Hearts, on the position 3. What a change!
A lot of cars coming into the pits as well. Mark Wilson going for a set of softs, so
And look at
that's
Hedgehog.
Hedgehog going for mediums as well, alongside Piero, Wee-Cam and Matt Rowney. So
Wow.
some might see that as a mistake. Others might say that as a big brain decision there. But this is big for Quick Kill as well. Allow him to reform at the back of the grid. I'm quite surprised to through the hard runners pitting. They could easily get to the end. Of course, the mediums should be able to get to the end now. A couple of laps under safety car, and then 13 laps of racing. As Tomo Tiptop and Riordan phasing into each other through the safety car. That was
interesting.
That was a new one.
We haven't seen this one yet.
That's a Jamie Robertson DeRoy looking moment, I must admit, from Spa. That's definitely interesting. But we've got a big mix of strategies here. Some guys on, Mean Man Moody, Wild Dog, Riordan on slightly older mediums. They may now be able to stretch him to the end, but of course they will be screaming at the end. Atomic on 2-lap old hards, he'll be able to go to the end, as well as all the other fresh hard runners such as Tomo Tiptop, Drone, BX37 Pro and MEFC Harvey. And the mediums, they should go to the end, the fresh mediums, but towards the end of the race, they may start to struggle ever so slightly.
Definitely a very interesting choices in the tires here currently. Mark Wilson is on soft compound tires, so he will definitely have to pit once again. Maybe with another virtual safety car or full safety car, that might be a good decision, but it's going to be tricky. It's going to be very, very difficult for him to keep up the pace and to stay within the within his personal rivals on tracks, because the soft compound tires, they don't last that long.
Absolutely. For the first 3 laps of racing, those softs will be lightning quick, and he'll have to get the moves done then. But after that, if he battles for too long, he'll take so much life out of them that he won't even get to a point where he can go for another set of softs. So maybe a bit of a mix-up on his part, but we don't know what's happening with the drivers. We don't know what decision-making they've got, and we love to see these little different strategies. And hopefully, I'd love to see Mark come back and prove us wrong with a solid performance here, but I think that might be a little mistake. But we'll wait and see.
Yeah, so far penalties are not looking too bad as well, except of our usual candidate. Unfortunately, that I have to say, is MUFC Harvey, currently on 13 seconds of time penalties, the highest number currently in the race. And then Matt Rowney, P14 currently, with 5 seconds on top of his time, as well as Atomic and AFL both will have an additional 3 seconds time penalties to be added at the end of the race. There might be eventually, I'm gonna say this very careful, a decider at the end of the race if Hedgehog can get close enough between the two rivals here for currently the championship fight all the way at the front. But we have the safety car in the lap.
Safety car in the start, back to green flag racing. Riordan getting a nice jump on Wild Dog, and maybe even a jump on Mean Man Moody on the restart. Having a little look down the inside, not quite close enough to get the move on Mean Man Moody, and actually losing back out to Wild Dog on turn 2. Tomo tipped up, not in the mix. I thought that was his front line coming in there. Nearly had a little bit of panic, but everybody, it seems, getting through the safety car restart nice and cleanly.
Definitely very, very ambitious moves here from Walter. Once again, breaking very late there into turn 4. It is actually onto me, Mahmoud. You just saw the gap there, as we were talking about before. All the cars are getting so close to each other now. We have another overtake, Atomic onto Scott Guy just for P7, and another battle as well between Mark Wilson and Fanny Ashton for P9, the higher positions. Of course, we do have points as well for every single driver from P1 all the way down to P15. We get one little point as well. Piero just is battling, or was battling for P15, but he spun, unfortunately for him, now all the way back in P19. Not too sure what happened there. Might be something for the stewards as well. If you have anything for the stewards and you watch back the race as well, please report it as well if you think that might be a little bit too much, as we have very, very soon, I think, one more lap to go for DRS as well. And this is where the battles are going to heat up. Mark Wilson now in the soft tire currently. P10 as well, still not making it stick to the floor just yet, but he's making a dive.
We do have a virtual safety car, sorry to interrupt, and it is a full course safety. So that is a strange one. I'm not quite sure what has caused that. MUFC Harvey seemed to retire, or did MUFC Harvey retire on track again? Was that a similar to Spider Rob? You can see the Mercedes, the bottom right hand of the screen. He was on the pit entry sort of area, so I wonder if he had an incident on the pit entry.
That is a very, very strange one, as you were saying as well, but I assumed he was in the pit lane, but it might be a weird glitch as well from the game. But once again, we have another safety car just a few laps after the first one, and it's going to be interesting to see Mark Wilson. Is he going to risk it again, or is he going to stay out? Because this is his opportunity to maybe change his tire, not to lose too much time for the end. What would you do there, Scott?
Well, he's got 2 lap old softs. He's not really done a tire on them. So let's say they can go 5-6 laps. I think really he's either got to go for the mediums and just go absolutely hard on those. He's going to lose lots of positions, drop down to P18, or I think what I would do, to be fair, you've got the softs, you've got the life in the softs, blitz them out for the next 5 laps, or however long's left at the end of the safety car, split that in 2, blitz it out, go absolutely hammer and tong until the end of that stint, pit, put another set of softs, and if you're lucky you might get a VSC or a safety car in between them, but a lot jumping into the pits here. As we were saying that, Riordan, Scott Gay, Mark Wilson is into the pits, BX37 Pro Hedgehog into the pits as well, so he's not having a race to remember. Must have been something. He was involved with that MUFC Harvey incident, but I can't help but feel this safety car very, very good for the likes of Wild Dog, Mean Man Moody and AFL, all on the slightly older mediums. They will very easily be able to take them to the end now, I predict. A lot easier than they would before, and just to jump back to the pits again, Mark Wilson is going for the mediums, so P16 he will have time and positions to make up, but he's going to have to put the work in for it. And just as we were saying that, you're talking about the stewards.
AFL.
Drone his teammate hitting the back of AFL and giving him a 5-second penalty. So a lot of them popping up at the start of this safety car. Might be a little bit of work for the stewards, of course. Those that have pit and served them won't be able to get them moved as they serve them under safety car, but there seems to be a lot of contact like we seen last week in Singapore under the safety cars.
Yeah, we have seen this before, definitely, haven't we? And it's just a small little thing that some drivers are maybe too excited for the restart, but you have a lot of time. This is the time you can take a breather. You can actually take a sip of water if you leave a lot of space around, and it's a time for breathing because there's no pressure. You're recharging the energy, you're recharging your ERS, So why don't you just take a small breather without any pressure around? But these drivers, as we said before, want to go for as soon as possible for every single gap that they can see or just sniff in the distance. As we see the safety car doing another lap around Bahrain. Currently lap 17, and I just want to take the opportunity for everyone in the chat as well. Thank you so much. We've seen some support as well, some angry comments as well from Matt, so I do want to apologize once again for my commentator curse. I think Scott and myself have been quite active and quite strong there as well. I don't know if we can just smell it or if the game is just listening to us, unfortunately. Very, very unfortunate for Matt.
Absolutely, I do apologise for any commentator curse we swing to any of the driver's way. But speaking of a driver going his own way, BX37 Pro, Big Ben as we like to call him, he's went for a set of softs. Safety car probably going to come in this lap. That'd give about 10 laps of racing. We've seen wee Cammy do it, so Ben may be thinking, I can take these tyres to the end. I'm going to have a lot more pace. But see how that works out for him.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. This is going to be a very, very exciting one. Might have been a very, very risky call here because we expect the safety car to come in, as you said already, and doing more than 7 laps on the softs here in Bahrain is very, very critical. You lose a lot of time, you lose a lot of grip, and especially on the curbs, as you have seen now plenty of times already. You maybe want to think twice to go onto the soft tires, but hey, he's at the very back of the grid, not even into points position at the moment, so why don't you try something else, and maybe he can just make it to the very end. We have every single tire compound on the grid. As we can see, finally, the racing will presume very, very shortly.
Absolutely, safety car in this lap. That, of course, means Wild Dog becomes our de facto safety car, setting the pace for the rest of the field. He's going to take it nice and slow, letting that safety car get down the end of the straight. Be interesting to see, does he go for an early launch? Does he go for a late one? Wait and see. He does straighten the car back up, getting around the penultimate corner. Yep, that little bend. There's the corner, and he is going early. Nice and early, and he has in fact caught Mean Man Moody, not just sleeping, absolutely snoring. 2-second gap already. What a restart from the young Belgium. And Tomo Tip Top is now going to line up a move on Mean Man Moody, not quite capable of doing it into turn 1. And it seems once again everybody making it through nice and easy. Reverend Melvin making up one position on the Maverick in P8, but the rest of the field staying very, very similar. Melvin actually getting a nice launch out of turn 3 and gets the move done on Funny Oz Chimp before turn 4. Oof, that was a mouthful.
Wow. But definitely, there's a lot of action going on as well. Sorry to interrupt once again, but the Maverick is really, really pushing as well. Funny Shrimp, are we going to see the dive bomb? Yes, we will. The Maverick is just going over the curb and another touch there. Unfortunately for him, losing up a position up to Quick Killer. McLaren going around the outside, but Funny Shrimp is just pushing him off track and says, no, you're not going to give this space. But we have the Maverick once again going for another move. There's a lot of action going on here.
A lot of cars so close together there. Wee Cammy getting past Quick Killer and all that kerfuffle going on there. And actually, and there's contact between Wee Cammy and Maverick through turn 11. The two of them going round. Mark Wilson going off round turn. That is into the wall, in fact, around turn 12. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's not a VSC, maybe even a full safety car once again. Hopefully not. We want to get some racing going on, but just yellow flags at the moment.
Oh, the Maverick decided just to do a little stop by as well, a little drive through to slow down off track to say goodbye to his dear friend now. Mark Wilson in the walls, unfortunately. There's currently just a yellow flag, and that looks like we're going to resume the racing. Currently, Wild Dog almost 3 seconds gap up to P2 Mima Moody, as we see another few 3 seconds time penalties for the drivers which will be added at the very end of the race.
All be totaled up, of course. There is quite a lot of 5-second pains in there. I'd be surprised if a few of them don't get removed. AFL probably has a good chance of getting his removed. Caught that live on stream. Of course, his teammate hitting the back of him. There'll be a few more in the steward's office. I wouldn't be surprised by the end of the night. Back on the track though, Piero making a move on Funny. Oh, it's Jim towards turn 11. Jim turning in a little bit, maybe cutting him off, but Piero doing good to avoid contact, having to take a little bit more of the curb. But now going to the inside, around turn 12, almost making contact, does very well to avoid it. And that'll give him the inside to turn 13, and there is contact this time, and that is the end of Piero's race. We really need to stop with this, commentators, because that's a yellow flag in sector 3, and that is a virtual safety car. Full course safety car now.
Oh, that is very, very unfortunate for the Red Bull driver Piero. Red Bull now back onto normal livery as well, for all the fans who like to pay attention to the extra details, as we see many drivers once again in the pit lane. We have 5, 6, 7 drivers now changing up. I assume mainly the front wing for some battles, some damage. We have as well Hedgehog and Matt Rowney double stacking. Matt is losing a lot of time there, unfortunately. But that means that we have the front of the grid all the way down to P7 on medium, and 2 hards as well. Tomo, Tip Top, and Drone both on hards. But the rest of the grid from P8 all the way down to the end is all on softs. This is going to be a exciting end of the Bahrain Grand Prix.
Big shout out to BX37 Pro, as he's looking like an absolute genius right now. Going on them softs at the last safety car. He's got 2 lap old softs that he's not really done much racing on. Probably another 2 laps, or at least a lap under safety car here. And yeah, he's looking like an absolute genius right now by doing that. But it'll be interesting to see, because we do know, of course, the softs wear out a lot quicker. A fresh set of softs versus a fresh set of mediums. The softs will probably be quicker, laps 4, 5. But after that, it starts to swing round, and the mediums become the better tyre. The hards even become better after about lap 5, 6-ish. So that will of course happen. But the only person that's really on any sort of fresh mediums is Scott Gay in P7. But Wild Dog is now coming into the pits. Now is Mean Man Moody as well from P1 and P2. Tomo Tip Top staying out on 8 lap old hards. As is AFL on 12 lap old mediums. Drone in 8 lap old hards. And Reverend Melvin on 8 lap old mediums. And Scott Gay of course on those 4 lap old mediums. So they're opting for the softs. They are going to probably come out in front of, definitely come out in front of the pack further behind Atomic backwards. P7 from P1, but on fresh softs.
Look at that. Wild Dog is now in a AlphaTauri sandwich as well, and all the cars are on softs around him, as you've just mentioned, from E6 and BX37. So the AlphaTauri against Mima Moody. This is going to be a team battle there. If BX37 Pro, as we call him, Ben or Big Ben or whatever you prefer to call him, you can put some more nicknames as well down in the chat. Let us know your most funniest nicknames for our driver currently. But Wild Dog, he's gonna have to push through the AlphaTauri defending wall, and we'll see. Currently some penalties as well. Some drivers were able to get rid of some 5 seconds time penalties as well, but AFL 8 seconds on P2 currently, and Scott Gay is on 8 seconds as well, and then we have some more 5 seconds time penalties.
Just a Drone getting a 5-second penalty for touching Reverend Melvin. Reverend Melvin off to the left as if he'd... And Wild Dog getting one as well.
Overtaking. Melvin is overtaking during the safety car. Touched Wild Dog there on the safety car. I'm not too sure what he is doing.
Well, what seems to happen is Drone has made contact with Reverend Melvin. Melvin's been spun off to the left, made contact with the wall, and of course the game would tell him maybe to get back into position, so to a certain degree, but that's another strange instance under the safety car here in tier 4. We are used to them of course by now. Lots of 5-second pens, seen them, of course, last week. But the safety car going for another lap will be the
Very, very
Maverick.
strange decision.
Will be the Maverick filing up at the back. And then we should get running next lap. That'll leave us with about 5 laps of racing here at the end. So these softs will be very, very racy in that period. But it'll be interesting to see that 5-second penalty. I don't know quite who was at fault for it, but that could be big, big for Wild Dog. And it looks very good for Mean Man Moody. And BX37 Pro. And even Tomo Tip Top out the front. No pens compared to the rest of them. For getting on at least the provisional podium before Stewardon, of course.
Definitely. And if we have a look at the position changes, we can see that Tomo Tip Top as well made up 12 positions and Drone 14 positions, as well as BX37 Pro. Very, very strong from those 3 drivers. And talking about position changes, Scott, so far this race has been very, very eventful, and I would love to hear not only your opinion for the current driver of the day that you're looking at, but also for everyone in the chat. We have 19 people watching as well, still here. Put it in the chat, guys. We want to hear you. The drivers would love to see your support as well. Put the names in the chat, and also if you are new here with us, we have links to our social media. We are mainly organized on Discord. Have a look in our description, have a look on the link, and one of our admins would be more than thrilled to send you some invitations as well, as we can see that the safety car is about to go back on in the pit lane. Scott, quick word, driver of the day so far. Who are you going to look at for the last 6 laps remaining?
It's got to be either Mean Man Moody. He's had solid since qualifying, or Tomo Tip Top. He's had a very good strategy. Not been tempted to go for the softs or the mediums under the safety car. He is in the hards. He does almost spin it and go a little bit wide, but getting the racing back, he is. Green flag here in Bahrain for a 5-lap shootout. Let's see what this action will bring. All the cars close together, a lot of fresh soft runners further back down the field, and a lot of mixed tyres at the front. This will be interesting. Ben going for a big, big dive, it seems, and immediately losing it on the exit of turn 2. That is another case of commentator's curse. Spinning back onto the racing line, luckily ghosting. So that is unfortunately, as much as we praised him for his big decision making earlier on, he has sort of lost it all there. Wild Dog, though, already up to P4 from P6 at this early stage. And he is looking to get a move on Drone into turn 9, going down the inside very, very nicely. And Drone has to concede the position. So Wild Dog not messing about at this early stage. But Stein, I'll ask you, how about your driver of the day so far? We try not to jinx anyone with these, of course, but I've got to ask.
Of course. Me as an AlphaTauri driver myself, I loved to see the performance from Mean Man Moody. Putting his car in qualifying by 2/10 up into P1 is always very, very tricky if you have quick rivals around, to just be slightly faster. As we see Wild Dog now going for another move as well. Once again up to P2 now, very strong. Wild Dog currently on the soft tires. But I think the current driver of the day that I am looking at the moment would be Drone. He's been very, very solid so far. Of course, we do see some moments here and there from every single driver, but this is racing. It's always interesting to see who's going for good moves. But Drone, his race performance is improving, definitely, that we can see. Currently 13 positions improvement.
Absolutely, his racecraft and his race pace is definitely improving week in, week out. Of course, getting his first ever podium here in CRL 2 weeks ago out in Austria. Getting a nice little P3 to add to his trophy cabinet, and again up there in that sort of position. Penalties might sort of ruin that for him tonight, but he is in still a strong position for a good points finish. The championship battle, though, we're going to jump back to that quickly, Stein. Hedgehog is currently down in P10. EFL is currently in P3. Of course, penalties are still in to play, and there is the rules that penalties can't be removed if they are, is it something if they're served within the if there's a penalty, a safety car in the last so long
Absolutely.
so that might have an effect. I'm not quite sure, I can't remember off the
Definitely.
top of my head what the exact ruling is with that, but that could have a big impact on this race. But Wild Dog looking to make a move for the de facto lead of this Grand Prix on Tomo Tip Tap. 2 lap old softs versus 11 lap old hards, and it's not even going to be a contest. But Tomo, having a bit more battery left, is actually able to defend using that electronic battery. But Wild Dog very aggressive on his brake, and Daniel Ricciardo-esque indeed gets the move done into turn 1 nice and easily. What a
And
move
we have
by
a lot
Wild
of
Dog.
action as well. Here, Mima Moody is defending big time again. Scott Gay currently dropped down to P8. Quick Killer and Riordan as well made the move. Unfortunately for Scott, currently battling Mima Moody, just trying to pass Drone on track. I haven't even seen him. There are so many cars so close together. You love to see it. Look at how close together they are. They are absolutely battling for DRS for every single centimeter, inch on track. They are so close. Quick Killer almost touching Mima Moody as well. The AlphaTauri driver is looking very strong. But coming back to your point as well, Hedgehog, of course, against AFL, the point number 1 to talk about as Drone is going off track. Hedgehog still, there's a lot of time to be gained. There's an 8 seconds time penalty for AFL, and AFL needs to be careful. He needs to push a lot, and Hedgehog just stay on track and bring the car home. There's some good points ahead of you.
Absolutely, you look at all them penalties in front, there's lots of positions to be jumped by the likes of Hedgehog, by the likes of Matt Rowney, just by keeping it clean for the last few laps. Just a little point out, Ben's. Oh, there's a big incident. That is Drone and Reverend Melvin, Quick Killer, I believe, making contact into the wall on the right hand side. I'm not quite sure how that happened. That's a very, very strange one, but just as much as we were praising him, that is your commentator curse striking once again, Steiny.
So that is definitely the commentator curse day. That is absolutely unbelievable. I'm gonna write a few letters there as well after the race straight away. But the race is not going to pause anything. This is too late in the race. We will have just a few yellow flags. We do have another one as well. Isn't that in AlphaTauri?
That is BX Ferguson. I've seen him go off a couple of times in the last few laps. Now, I'm not one that, I don't like just to put accusations on. I really hope that wasn't him trying to retire on track. Because I've seen him go off at turn 1, turn 3, turn 5, and now turn 12. So, an interesting one, I must admit. Unless he's just really struggling. He was on 7 local softs, but a lot of that was under safety car. So, hopefully that isn't the case. We never want that to be the case. But, not the result you would have wanted for AlphaTauri tonight anyway, Steiny, as he is outside the points. Drone, however, will get his points, I do believe, because he is within 90% of the race being done, or maybe just...
Scott, we are going to see a big battle as well in here. Sorry to interrupt you, but we're having a big battle between Tomo Tiptop and Mima Moody. You were mentioning AlphaTauri. How well is Mima Moody able to manage the time, manage the battle on track? White Dog has a 5 seconds time penalty, and Mima Moody is just dropping over the 5 seconds line with no ERS. While all the battling behind Tomo Tiptop, I've noticed that Moody was so good in managing ERS during the entire race, but now dropped down to almost nothing. Very, very unfortunate for him. We can say the biggest speed drop there after the ERS deployment is dropping down under 10% is massively unfortunate for him at the moment, but it's way from over. It's 1.5 laps to go. Let's see if he can actually stay with him, and he's making up some time now again to White Dog.
Absolutely, just over a tenth over that 5 seconds, like you're saying. A tenth sounds like a lot, but we all know it isn't. It is and it isn't in Formula 1. Tenth can be miles when it comes to qualifying, but a tenth can also be a little bit of an error or a little bit of a perfect run through a corner, and you can make or lose that time in no time at all. And Mima Moody has dropped that just momentarily below the 5 second gap. The key thing though is he's broke DRS from Tomo Tip Top, so Tomo's not really going to be much of an impact on him for the rest of this race. He shouldn't be anyway. Wee Riordan and Tomo though, they're going to be the battle to look out for. Wee making a nice little move up the inside into turn 1 on Riordan and trying to attack Tomo Tip Top, but Riordan coming back very, very nicely here. I'm going to try and get a little bit of slipstream and DRS up the second straight. Thinks better of it, having to back out. There's just no room there whatsoever. But yeah, Mean Man Moody just on the cusp of that penalty, like we're saying. 1 lap to go. This is the final lap, but he has lost out by about 3 tenths. And the rest, what was that? There was a car going sideways there. That was Wee Cammy through turn 5 and 6. We just caught that in the background as I was about to jump to Mean Man Moody, because I noticed he lost about 4 tenths through that sector there. So maybe Wild Dog on an absolute flyer of a lap here. We'll wait and see.
Extremely close. Wild Dog is just 5.08 seconds ahead. Mean Man Moody was able to close up again. Both drivers are underneath of 10% ERS usage. Both drivers are using so much, all the way down to 4.88, now up to 4.95. Is Mean Man Moody able, last turn to break? 4.95 seconds. Wild Dog is closing up to the finish line. Mean Man Moody 4.9, 4.93, 4.92, 4.92, 4.91, and yes, he won the race. You'd love to see it as an AlphaTauri supporter, but so close, 1/10 of a second. And Tomo Tip Top making his podium up. Is this his debut on the podium?
This will be his debut. I don't know if it's his debut on the podium in CRL. Of course, he has been around for a few seasons, but it will be his debut on the podium this season, getting P3,
Absolutely.
making them hards go 16 laps. Hedgehog and Matt Rowney, we said about them earlier on, no pens jumping to P4 and P5. Maverick, a very good result from Maverick, P6. He hasn't had the best of seasons at times, been down maybe the lower pack of the field, but P6 is nothing to be scoffed at. That's about 18 points here tonight. Riordan in the Mercedes, P7. AFL, the championship battle there, losing out 4 positions on Hedgehog. That could be big as we go to Russia and then Brazil. Reverend Melvin, Atomic are our top 10 with Aussie Chimp, Scott Gate and Quick Killer, the last of the finishers. What a race, though, Steiny. What a race to watch.
As we're just trying to catch our breath here, I'm having a quick look to send a message out to invite those podium drivers as well into a charity. Into our party. I can imagine that you guys are thrilled to hear what they are going to say. But very, very impressive driving and extremely close. You can see how important it is to manage your ERS during the race, and wow, 1/10 of a second, that is nothing between P1, the victory, and the silver medal of P2. Amazing drive.
Absolutely. Very, very close battle was seen between them all race long. Interesting to see though, will Wild Dog have any ground to get that penalty removed? Maybe so. Of course, we have had them removed in the past, but that'll be one for the steward's office. But there we have it as it stands. From pole to flag, not exactly all the time, but if you look at the big picture, Mean Man Moody, top of the podium. Wild Dog from 3rd to 2nd, with Tomo Tip Top P3 at the end up. Hedgehog and Matt Rowney P4 and 5. Maverick, Riordan, AFL, Reverend Melvin and Atomic, the last top 10. Quickly, Steiny, before we go off the screen, who is your driver of the day?
My driver of the day, Tomo Tip Top, absolutely very, very impressive drive from him. Was able to make his debut here in this season up to the podium. I think in the end it was an amazing performance from him. Tomo Tip Top, Alpine, P3, my driver of the day. But
got to agree with that 100%.
That is definitely good. Evening there, Wild Dog as well. Just about missed up from the victory here by 1/10 of a second, 5 seconds time penalty, unfortunately, at the very, very end. If you want to talk us through here for the last few laps as well, the pressure that you felt from Mean Man Moody, how did you feel?
Yeah, felt really awesome. Of course, I had unfortunate Melvin came off. He didn't see me. He said to me in the part chats, and he hit me. So 5 seconds should come off, I think, because that was not my fault there. So yeah, if those two come off, I will win the Bahrain Grand Prix, which I'm very happy with, because I've had a good race here, and every time I got into the top 3 at quali, I spun or died. First time I didn't do it.
Well, if that
Here
is
as
the
well.
case, the 5 seconds coming off, that would be, of course, your 5th race of the season. You've got to be happy with that.
Yeah, then I will also have my 10th career league race win.
Very nice indeed. A nice little addition to the tally. I've got to say, you got a great safety car restart the second time, getting a 2.2 second gap to Mean Man Moody on that. Was that a bit of a shock to you, or did you have a plan going in for that? Or was it just a bit of off the cuff? You saw him sleeping, put the throttle down.
Had a plan going in. I think I was in third gear on my tires, so I'm going fast because the other guys usually going to first or second. Then I saw the gap was good enough. I went in the last corner going in, and then just flew away.
Very good.
After that, I was planning to do the soft medium, but then the last stage car came. I thought not risking it, going in for the softs, and yeah, the rest is history. I think I just flew past everybody who stayed out on the old tires.
Absolutely. Of course, you had the option to stay out longer, but going for the chance to get the fresher softs in. Speaking of fresher softs as well, somebody that followed you in with that decision, he is here, of course, our P1 for the night, maybe P2 after Stewart, depending, of course, on that 5-second penalty. We'll wait and see with that. But Mean Man Moody, congratulations on the night, provisionally before Stewart, and you are P1. Another podium result for what's been a pretty good season for you so far. Must feel good after that.
Well, I feel excellent after last week.
Definitely. A bit of a poor race. I can't remind off the top of my head. Sorry, I'll just have a little look here. Out in Singapore last time.
Yeah, I got knocked out on, I think it was third corner from finishing line.
P10 last week out. Of course, yeah, not too great. So a good way to bounce back anyway. A very, very good result. Good to see you back up on the podium once again this season, continuing on with a very, very strong season here again. Of course, not your first time in CRL, but currently in the standings you are P4, not too far off the top, and potentially with that result tonight in for an outside chance of sneaking the title.
Well, that'd be nice.
Definitely great performance by you. Mean Man Moody, it's a big pleasure to have you here with us, especially as a AlphaTauri heart beating in my chest as well here, a teammate fighting together for the championship battle. Congratulations, mate. That was an amazing race and qualifying session, especially very, very impressive. It was 4/10 off. Where did it come from?
I don't know. I was practicing last night. I was going 127 ones. And somehow I just did it.
One of those, a perfect lap almost, just hooking up every one of the perfect sectors from your practicing all coming together in one lap is what every driver wishes for, and you certainly did that tonight with a dominant performance in qualifying. Steiny, have you got anything else you want to ask these two while we're here before I ask, I suppose, our final little interview question?
I assume I'm just still so shocked from all the battles that was going on. I must have said it was very hard for us to keep track on all the moves that was going on track, all the position changes, the different strategies. So it must have been very, very difficult or tricky for the two of you, me, Mahmoudi, and Wojtek. We're gonna start here with Wojtek as well. In terms of the strategy, how did you get into the race, and did you have to change your strategy? And it's gonna be the same question as well for me and Mahmoudi afterwards.
Yeah, I went into the race thinking, all right, I'm gonna try to make myself last to lap to about 7, 8, and pit for the mediums and make them last till the end. Of course, the first safety car helped me, then the second one as well, and then the last safety car. I thought, all right, this is only 9 laps, gonna go for the softs, because I think everybody of the top runners who are challenging for the win here will go for the softs as well. So if I don't, I'll be just a sitting duck.
Yeah, definitely important decision there to change up your own strategies. Soft tires a long stretch to lap 8. That is absolutely amazing. Moody, how about you? Starting from pole position, brought it back down all the way home. what did happen during your race regarding strategy?
Well, it come out good with the safety car. I did on last time. Because I was going to go in soft anyway. Because I went soft, medium, soft. And when that cooked, so I had to go in at lap 20 to get the softs on to finish the race.
Yeah.
It come out just in time.
Perfectly timed the safety car, perfectly timed all the decisions and as well to change onto tires, which we have seen a few surprises as well. So important to make decisions correct at the right time, at the right spot on track. So very, very well done. Once again, congratulations, Mima Moody, AlphaTauri, P1 currently, and just about behind an amazing battle we've seen on track, the chase up to Wild Dog, who was on track P1 in a Ferrari, now ending up on position 2, Wild Dog and Moody. Congrats. But that is it from me, Scott.
Well, you just stole my final question as well, so I'd say we're pretty good. Thank you too for joining us.
And well done to our
Thank you too for joining us. It's been always a pleasure to have you here for the podium interviews as usual.
I'm happy to be back as well after Singapore last week. I thought I would be on here, but the safety car, my teammate had other plans.
Absolutely. But Steiny, thank you very much for joining me again tonight. Been an absolute pleasure to have you, my friend. We'll hopefully see you back next week for Russia, and then hopefully even Brazil. We'll wait and see with that. I'll let you have a quick little word. Suppose thank everybody at home and apologise for your commentators, Chris.
Of course. I do have a long list for everyone who I have cursed today as well. We've not only seen this in the comments, but also on track, unfortunately. But a thrilled, I was about to say weekend as well in Bahrain. A very, very exciting race here. Thank you, everyone in the chat as well. We had we kept an eye on everyone in the chat as well, of course. So thank you very much for all your support in the chat. The two drivers in the interview, thank you once again. And we are definitely going to be back here alongside my apparently even smaller friend than I expected. Scott Freefall, aka Speedy. I'm looking forward for
that's a new one
for the next one. Definitely just made it up there.
Absolutely.
But we'll see about Russia. We'll definitely see about Russia. But I would love to be back for Brazil. So we'll see.
Absolutely. But yeah, thank you very much for joining me tonight. Like you've said, thank you to the two guys here in for the interviews, and thank you for everybody in the tier 4 race tonight. Of course, all of our full-time drivers taking part. No reserves tonight. Lovely thing to see. Apologies to the reserves that were hoping to race, of course, but the full-time drivers do of course have that preference, and it's not very often we see them all here at the same time. I'll leave it be on that. Thank you all for joining us here tonight, of course, for round 13 of season 5, tier 4 in CRL. I've been your host, CRL Freefall. Make sure to join us back on Thursday night at 7:30 GMT for tier 2 and tier 3, and then 8:30 the main event, the one you all want to see, tier 1, take to the track at 8:30. Next week though, join us back here, the same time, the same place, Monday 8 GMT for tier 4, round 14 of season 5. I've been your friend and host as always, CRL Freefall, aka Scotty, and I will see you all next week. Have a good and lovely weekend. We out.